Don't ask me what you know is true. Don't have to tell you I love your precious heart. I was standing, you were there. Two worlds collided, and they could never tear us apart. We could live for 1,000 years, but if I hurt you, I make wine from your tears. I told you that we could fly, 'cause we all have wings, but some of us don't know why. I was standing, you were there. Two worlds collided, and they could never, ever tear
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
I was standing, you were there. Two worlds collided, and they could never tear us apart. You were standing, I was there. Two worlds collided, and they could never tear us apart. I was standing.
We'll just wait for the last few people to come in. There's still some seats up the front, folks, if someone wants to grab one up here. To the living, I am gone. To the sorrowful, I will never return. To the angry, I am sorry. But to the happy, I am at peace. To the faithful, I have never left. I cannot speak, but I can listen. I cannot be seen, but I can be heard. So as you stand upon a shore, gazing at a beautiful sea, as you look upon a flower and admire its simplicity and its beauty, remember me. Remember me in your heart, your thoughts and your memories of the times we loved, the times we cried, the times we fought, and the times we laughed. For if you always think of me, I will never have gone. I'd like to welcome everyone here this morning as we come together as this enormous group for an opportunity to mourn, to remember, and to most importantly celebrate the life of our dear Katie. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Simon Wood, and my colleagues and I are honoured to have had Katie entrusted to our care and to be conducting this service on her behalf, on behalf of her family. Each of you have been able to take time from your busy lives and make an effort to come together out of respect for Katie, to offer support to the family and one another. Athol and Lynn, Tracy, Leon, and all of Katie's extended family want to express the gratitude for the time you've taken and for the words of sympathy and support you've extended to them at this difficult time. In life, Katie was a beloved and loving daughter to Athol and Lynn, an adored sister and sister-in-law to Tracy and Simon and Leon and Helen. As an auntie, she was cherished by her nieces and nephews, Ben, Addison and Halen, who I suspect she would have spoilt rotten. And she was, of course, a dear, dear friend and colleague to so many. KT, or Bart, was hardworking, a bit of a magnet. The police will understand that. I've left the word that normally goes in front of it off. But always gave freely of her time to anyone who needed a hand. With her affable and effervescent personality, she made getting along with her and being her friend very easy. Katie was emphatic and generous of nature, and her kindness of spirit touched so many people. We're here today not just to mourn Katie's passing, but to celebrate the many ways that she has positively impacted so many lives. First and foremost today is a celebration. As I'm sure you'd agree, Katie would not want it any other way. She would not want your hearts to be filled with the burden of grief. She would want you to fill the empty place left by her passing with the presence of her memories, perhaps with a smile and a thought for all the good and happy moments in her life. Today we're going to hear some lovely stories of Katie's, some hopefully statute barred, and we're also going to see a lot of photos. And as we do so, we'll each recall memories and relationships with Katie, and we'll have the comfort that she has been and she will always be a part of our lives. Her influence will last and will always last due to the significance of her character and of her deeds. And we'll hear more of some of those deeds shortly. So what I might do now is ask Tracy to come forward, and she's going to deliver the eulogy.
Thank you. It is my pleasure and privilege to get to share a little about Katie today. Katie was born at Gosford Hospital to her young parents, Athol and Lynn Thompson, in the autumn of 1971, and she lived on the Central Coast. Katie was a happy youngster and loved the outdoors, whether on a farm or at the beach. Katie became a big sister to myself and my younger brother, Leon. Katie was a great sister who always looked out for my brother and I. From the very start, Katie and I did many things together. When Katie was 5 and I was 3, we were in hospital together for our tonsil removals. Even back then, Katie was brilliantly taking on her role as big sister and advocating for me to get ice cream instead of the terrible mushy hospital vegetables that were trying to serve us for dinner. Whilst Katie was initially hesitant and clearly nervous to ask those grumpy nurses for our ice cream, she did it for us and we got our ice cream. Brilliant advocating, Katie. Katie attended Canmore Public School for primary school and then Gorican High School, where she elected to study drama because she loved to act and was good at it. Katie could easily make herself cry on cue. First, she would practice with using an onion, but then, because she was a natural and great at her craft, she was able to ditch that onion and cry when needed. The well-known actor on exchange student Matthew McConaughey, who was not famous at the time, attended Katie's school drama program and they became good friends. You would often see Katie and Matthew walking around school together. Katie was always happy to share that her and Matt McConaughey shared a kiss, not on the screen, but off. Well done to Katie. Not only was Katie a natural talent at acting, she was also extremely talented at drawing, and each year of high school, Katie would draw logos of various surf brands identical to those in the local surf shops on our haversacks, which are also known as canvas backpacks. I was so proud of my artsy backpacks for school, and all my friends would give me compliments on how cool my backpack was, which was all thanks to Katie's masterpieces. One year, Katie drew by hand a holly hobbit directly from a piece of wrapping paper she found and framed it for my birthday. It was beautiful. The print was so small. It was amazing how Katie could take that little tiny image and bring it to life in a drawing. Katie also drew a Donald Duck picture so skillfully and framed it for her brother Leon. So precise and so much talent. Katie and I saw our very first rock concert together, which was Bon Jovi in the September of 1987 at the Sydney Entertainment Centre. It was Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet tour and the very first time Bon Jovi performed in Australia. Katie was 16 and I was 14. The next rock concert Katie went to was our second rock concert together, and it was none other than the In Excess Kick concert in 1988. Many would come to know of Katie's love of In Excess, and more particularly their lead singer Michael Hutchence. When Michael passed away in 1997, Katie was devastated. I called her to give my condolences and see what she needed, but for a week she did not, and understandably so, want to speak to anyone. Michael was to be her future husband. She always told anyone who would listen she was going to marry Michael Hutchence one day. During her late teens, Katie's brother Leon was becoming an avid cricketer, and she spent many hours bowling to him on our long concrete drive so that my brother could perfect his batting. Then she spent the same amount of hours batting so he could practice his bowling. Leon did well in his cricket, and even though we got drug around to each of his crazy 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday morning club and rep games, we made the best of it. As Leon was playing up grade levels for his cricket, Katie and I would sit on the sideline and hope to find a cute boy to watch pass the time away. Well done, Leon, for being a great cricket champ. I wish we could say the same about your golf game. In his senior year, Leon stayed with Katie in her house in Burwood, it might have been 5 Dock, as he was scheduled to play his Met North School cricket games. Each day, Katie would drive Leon to his game in Penrith in her police car, in between her shifts, and all his teammates and coach were so excited to have a police officer bring Leon to Leon to the games. Turns out Leon's team lost that tournament, but at least he arrived to and from that tournament in style. His big sister was so proud of her little brother and happy to help work around her work schedule. When Katie was old enough, she applied to work part-time after school, weekends and school holidays at our local McDonald's in Tuggerah, which was about a 15-minute drive from our house in Charmhaven, where we lived growing up. Katie loved working at McDonald's and quickly progressed from a crew member to a crew trainer, then an area leader, which was the highest rank and a staff member could receive who was not a manager. One standout memory when Katie was on shift and working in the drive-thru one evening was when Tim Farris, the guitar player from In Excess, drove through and the window at McDonald's. He was asked to park his car until his food was ready, so Katie insisted to all her staff she would be the one to go out and give his food and ask for an autograph at the same time. Tim was very accommodating, gave his autograph to Katie, told her it was a pleasure to meet her, and asked her to do him a favour. That favour was that he asked her to please not tell anyone he was out in the McDonald's parking lot, as he intended to eat his food with his wife in a quiet space, far away from the spotlight and fans that being in a famous rock star and band of In Excess would bring. One year for our cousin's fancy dress party, Katie borrowed the Ronald McDonald costume from McDonald's and went as Ronald McDonald. She was the perfect Ronald, but those who know her in her later years knows of how much she hates clowns, which is ironic as she was the best-looking clown in town at that party. Katie's peers at McDonald's respected her leadership, and she made very good friends during her 4 years working at McDonald's. The managers would often ask Katie to stay after school to be a full-time manager, but she had other plans. When Katie completed her state exams, namely her high school certificate, she applied for the New South Wales Police Force, which was her dream job. Katie wanted to be a police officer since she was 9 years old. The reason she wanted to enter into the profession was because she wanted to help children and the elderly. Back in the day of applying for a job to work at the New South Wales Police Force, there were much stricter requirements than they have now or had shortly after application. The application entailed a written exam, medical and psychological assessment, and character and vetting. The New South Wales Police Force had a strict requirement of an excellent character. Katie was definitely that. But there was also a rigorous physical component to that application, which included scaling a 6-foot brick wall. When it came time for Katie's application for the New South Wales Police Force, she passed everything except scaling that brick wall, so was denied entry to the police academy. This was a huge disappointment and setback for Katie, as she could not try again for another year. Katie did not let this stop her. She needed to overcome the 6-foot wall barrier, so our father built her a 6-foot wooden wall, and it was sitting at our property for Katie to practice. Well, Katie practiced to scale that 6-foot wall again and again, often receiving many bruises as a result. The physical education teacher at Katie's high school, who was Mr. Petey at the time, was very impressed with our dad building that wall and marvelled at what a splendid idea that was, and voiced that he was certain to help Katie achieve her goal of passing that physical requirement and attending the academy to become a police officer. When the time came around for the police exam, she aced it and was off to the academy, and the rest is history. Katie loved giving gifts, but she also loved receiving them. In fact, one year, she loved gifts so much that one year a new boyfriend of mine had placed a gift under the tree at my parents' house. So Katie proceeded to sneak in, open it, see what it was, and wrap it back up. She then came over to me, pulled me aside, and told me what it was. So she ruined the surprise for me. That was Katie. Everyone who knew Katie knew she loved her family and was very protective of them. She was always first to give you a big hug. Katie would reach out to me often when I moved to New York, asking when I was coming back for a visit, often sending me the weather forecast and comparing Sydney to New York, as if to say your weather sucks, so come back to Australia, which I also refer to as God's country. Katie called me Trasserine for most of my adult life. As we know, Katie's name is just Katie, it's not Catherine, but many people would presume that Catherine was her full name and that it was shortened to Katie. I would tease her and call her Catherine, so Katie found a new name for me and would always fondly refer to me as that. That name was Trasserine. Katie called me Trasserine more than she called me Tracy. The funny thing was many people would be confused when she called me Trasserine, as if to say, what am I missing? We would both then have to explain why Katie called me Trasserine, which still confused most. Katie loved kids and kids loved her. There is no doubt in my mind that if circumstances were right for her, she would have been an excellent mother. My kids adored their Auntie Katie, as did my nephew Ben. In fact, all kids adored Katie. They knew good people when they saw it. Katie also loved dogs. I was lucky enough to share a house with Katie in our 20s and spend some time with her first fur baby, Conan, or Conan Bear as she would affectionately call him. Conan was super sweet and she loved him to bits. Katie's latest fur baby, Benson, is a sweetheart too, and now he lives on the farm with Mum and Dad, where he enjoys his new friends, whether it be dogs, cows, or the many kangaroos that come visit during the day. During Katie's time as a police officer, she helped many, many people in both her professional career as well as on a personal level. If you needed help, Katie would be there. During Katie's time in the police force, both working in her various station posts, together with work in Sydney Water Police, I was very fortunate enough to spend time with her. On breaks, when Katie was working in a station, I would go visit, and one time she cut my boyfriend's hair with her clippers, but in the middle of the haircut, she got called out for a job, so she left him mid-haircut. It took many hours for her to come back and get that haircut finished, but we got it done. On one occasion, I'd mentioned to Katie that I was going to a work event with my new boyfriend and a friend in King's Cross, which is not far from the city, as we know. Katie offered to pick us up from the water in her boat and drop us back to Neutral Bay, where my apartment was at the time. This was only if she was not busy and called out for a job, and on the basis that we needed to be very quiet in those early morning hours so as not to disturb the neighbourhood after our evening. When Katie asked who would she be picking up on the police boat, she was with her partner at the time, a work partner, I said my new boyfriend and a friend. Katie asked if the friend was good looking, and I said yes, but he's gay. So Katie picked us up, told us to quieten down as we docked from the shore, and she dropped us across the bay. What a great way to get home, and we were very thankful to her that she had some quiet time to pick us up. Well, when we spoke the next day, it turns out Katie had thought my boyfriend, who later became my husband, Simon, was the gay man. Just for the sole reason that he was wearing PVC leather pants from our night out. We laughed and laughed about that one for years to come. Speaking of my husband, his band Wishing Tree had an album launch on the harbour and secured a party boat for his band to play. As we were cruising around Sydney Harbour, the captain of the boat became alarmed as a police boat approached. When the captain of the boat asked, was everything all right, Katie said, I'm just here to see the band. Simon reminded me of that story last week and said he often thinks about just how cool that was. The water police boats left from Manly in Sydney, and I would often catch a bus from the next suburb over in DY to go to work when I was living on the northern beaches. One morning, whilst I was waiting in that notoriously long DY Beach bus line, Katie pulled up in her police car with her partner and yelled out, Tracy, do you need a ride in the city? Well, the whole line of commuters who were mostly decked out in suits all looked at me with a confused look as if to say, who are you and why are you so important to be able to get out of this long line to get a police escort into the city? When we went over the bridge, I even offered to pay the toll when we went, and Katie and her partner was laughing as they said, we are police, we don't pay the toll. It was so convenient to get a ride to work, and I got to work much quicker than that DY bus. She even escorted me on the police boat one time to a Melbourne Cup function where we left from Manly to be docked into the city. Can you imagine when I got off that boat in a dress and matching hat for a Melbourne Cup event, the onlookers quickly lost interest when they realised I was not famous. Katie was the best sister ever, and she had the greatest comebacks when we were having our sisterly fights. Evening times we had the chores of washing and wiping up, still unsure why that dishwasher just sat there laughing at us. As we were not allowed to use that only for special occasions, Katie would wash and I would wipe, and we would begin to fight, mostly because we were tired and we were doing housework, not a great combination for anyone. I would say, you're fat, and her zinger response would be, well, you're ugly, at least I can go on a diet. I remember that hitting home because she was right. She could lose weight, but I would always be ugly. Those fights, though, didn't last long, and the next night we'd be laughing uncontrollably at the dinner table trying to be serious. Dad would not be helpful, pulling silly faces, so we would continue laughing while Mum told us to mind our table manners. Meanwhile, Katie would be dobbing on me for hiding the Brussels sprouts under the potatoes and not eating them, whilst she herself proceeded to slip hers on Dad's plate, who conveniently let her off the hook. There is so much more I could share about Katie, her strength, her bravery, her love for all, her talents, her brilliant personality and storytelling abilities, so I will just finish with a thank you. Thank you, Katie, for all those you have helped, including me. You have been so many things to so many people, and those lucky people you've crossed paths, you are better people for knowing you. May you be enjoying pure peace and endless love and finally get to marry Michael Hutchins, as you always said you would. Now that you're in heaven with him, my heart is with you always. Thank you for being not only my sister, but my best friend. Over and out, badge number 4409. Thank you for your service, Catherine. Love, Trasserine.
Well done, Tracy. That was unbelievable. It really, really was. I think the only thing we forgot to do was say allegedly before you started, just to cover. Nothing was proved. As I'm sure we're all aware, Katie loved her time in the police, and I think that's represented by the number of current and former police here that we really like Katie as well. So what I'm going to do now is ask retired Detective Inspector Fred Trench to come forward to deliver Katie's service history and award history and the police ode. Thanks, Fred.
Service history for Katie Lynn Thompson, registered number 28651. Katie commenced initial training at the New South Wales Police Academy, Goulburn, on the 26th of July 1992. She graduated and was sworn in as a probationary constable on the 22nd of January 1993. Her initial posting was to Burwood Patrol, which encompassed the stations of Burwood, Five Dock, Enfield and Drummoyne. Katie was confirmed as a constable on the 22nd of January 1994. On the 23rd of February 1997, Katie transferred to Bass Hill Police Station on general duties and later that same year to Bankstown Police Station. Katie transferred to the Water Police on the 13th of May 2001 and worked at both the Broken Bay and Sydney Water Police Stations. On the 19th of July 2001, Katie was promoted to the rank of Senior Constable. On the 25th of September 2005, Katie transferred to Tuggerah Lakes Local Area Command on general duties. Duties she performed until her retirement on the 20th of November 2014. During her 22 years of service to the people of New South Wales, Katie was the recipient of the following awards. On the 22nd of May 1993, the then probationary Constable Thompson, with just 4 months of service, and Sergeant John Proops attended a domestic violence incident in Enfield. After making initial inquiries, Sergeant Proops and probationary Constable Thompson attended a second location to locate the offender. Sergeant Proops and probationary Constable Thompson became involved in a violent struggle with the male offender. During that struggle, Sergeant Proops suffered a heart attack and later died. Probationary Constable Thompson fought off the male while also trying to protect and perform CPR on Sergeant Proops. Those efforts continued for some time until backup arrived. For her actions and the courage displayed on that day, Katie received 2 awards: the Commissioner's Commendation for Courage and the St John's Ambulance Emergency Services Award. On the 1st of July 2001, Katie received the Commissioner's Olympic Citation for her duty during the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games. On the 10th of September 2004, Katie was awarded the New South Wales Police Medal for diligent and ethical service. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Police Ode. As the sun surely sets, dawn will see it arise, for service above self demands its own prize. You have fought the good fight, life's race has been run, and peace your reward for eternity begun. And we that are left shall never forget. Rest in peace, friend and colleague, for the sun has now set. We will remember. Hasten the dawn. Please be seated.
Thank you, Fred. There's many Enfield people here today who will remember when Proopsy died and how devastating it was for that patrol at that time. And I think it may be appropriate that we extend our sympathies and condolences to some of those who now work locally who are suffering exactly the same thing. So on behalf of everyone here, we pass on our condolences. Having heard all those wonderful stories, memories of Katie, we're going to look at some in pictures. I think there might be some she might be a little bit embarrassed by. Crimes against fashion, maybe. But that was Katie, always out there, always effervescent, always loving life. So what I might do is ask everyone to turn their attention to the screens and we'll watch a lovely photo presentation.
And
inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. All through my city, all through my home. We're flying up, no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good, good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. Ooh, it's something magical. It's in the air, it's in my blood, it's rushing on. I don't need no reason, don't be control. I fly so high, no ceiling when I'm in my zone. Cause I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop, stop, stop. Under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good, good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. I can't stop the feeling. Yeah. So keep dancing. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. I can't stop the. 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 Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good, good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. Ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. Everybody say.
Sorry about that. I don't think Katie ever didn't have a smile on her face, did she? Every photo, a beaming, infectious smile. I'm sorry if that caused a few sweaty eyes. I'm sure that having watched that slideshow, it's brought back many memories, some that might be personal to you, others that are shared. So what we might do now is take a minute to reflect on those memories, those stories, those good times. We're going to listen to another piece of music, and as we do so, we have some flowers here. Unfortunately, obviously, we can't have one for everyone, but we'll invite the family first to come forward and place a flower on the coffin as a final physical goodbye or opportunity to say goodbye to Katie. Once the family's done that, by all means, anyone else, feel free to come forward and say your goodbye to Katie. Thank you. And I should say I apologise for that technical glitch too at the start of the slideshow. We'll fix that in post.
In the dark of night, those small hours, uncertain and anxious, I need to call you. Rooms full of strangers, some call me friend, but I wish you were so close to me. In the dark of night, those small hours, I drift away when I'm with you. In the dark of night, by my side, by my side, I wish you were, I wish you were. Here comes the clown, his face is a wall, no window, no air at all. In the dark of night, his faces, they haunt me. Well, I wish you were so close to me. In the dark of night, by my side, by my side, I wish you were, I wish you were. By my side, by my side, I wish you were, I wish you were. In the dark of night, these faces, they haunt me. Well, I wish you were so close to me. Yes, I wish you were by my side. In the dark of night, those small hours, uncertain and anxious, I need to call you.
Sadly, at times like this, distance and circumstance prohibits everyone who wanted to be here being so. So what I'll do now is place a couple of extra flowers in recognition of the many who are watching online, the many workmates, friends of Katie who can't be here today, and for those who have gone before her. We've spent this morning hearing so many special memories of Katie, everything she has experienced and accomplished in her life. We have celebrated her humour, her passions and her ups and downs. And whilst there is sadness in our parting, we must take comfort in knowing that this is not the end, and there will be a reunion with Katie when the appointed time comes. Even now, she is together again with those family members who have gone before her. Katie, your life we honour. Your departure in time we will come to accept. Your memory we will always cherish. Although there is sadness today as we say goodbye, there is gratitude for your life. We are truly grateful for having the privilege of having shared it with you. But rest now at the end of your days. Rest in the hearts and minds of everyone who loved you. And so with love we shall leave you in peace. And with respect we bid you a fond farewell as we commit your body to be cremated, ashes to ashes and dust to dust. When someone passes who has played a special and unique part in our lives, it cannot but cause us sadness. But if we take the time to talk about Katie, then those conversations and reflections on your memories will always keep her close to your heart. Now, before we finish, I'll ask those that wish to join me in saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. On behalf of Katie's family, I'd like to once again thank you for your attendance here today, for all the kind words and support you've extended to them. And on behalf of the family, I'd like to invite everyone, you're warmly invited to join the family next door, to tell some more stories, memories, catch up over some light refreshments. In just a moment, we're going to play our final song. As the music plays, the curtains will close. And then when the time feels right for you, feel free to take your leave from the chapel and move next door. But leave knowing that we do not leave Katie behind. Instead, each of us will take a part of her with us in that special place reserved in our hearts. And in the days and weeks to come, as we share memories of Katie's life, her presence will always be there with us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please stay safe and take care.
Why you wanna tell me how to